Hello everybody and welcome to the video. I hope you guys are doing well. Today's video would be for those people who are having low scores, are finding difficulty in getting themselves through the express entry. So we have made videos on PNP's RNIP, which was the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program. So one another such program is the AIPP, which is the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. So this video will be all about AIPP and we will discuss what the program is and the entire step-by-step process of applying and eligibility of this stream. And if you like my channel, if you like the videos, if you think they are helpful, do like, subscribe and press the bell icon button. If you want any video, if you want me to make any video, do mention that in the comment section that what the next video must be. We will take your suggestions and we'll try making videos on your suggested topics. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can always mention things in comments, but if you want to do it privately, you can get me on Instagram, which is Shamroz Khan is the name of my Instagram, or my Facebook page. So without wasting any further time, let's start with what is AIPP, the eligibility and the step-by-step process. So let's begin. Okay, so why is this program so special and why is this program a real ray of hope for everybody who has been struggling with the express entry or the federal skilled worker program? So the highlights of this program is that the first great news of this program is that in this program there is absolutely no CRS system at all. So no CRS, no draws, no 470s, no 460s, no 480s, 50s. So there is no CRS system, number one. Number two highlight of this program is that even if you have low IELTS score, low IELTS as low as CLB4, you are eligible for this program. So no scoring 8s, 8.5s, no struggling in writing, reading, 2 attempts, 3 attempts, 4 attempts, so on and so forth. So very low IELTS score. Number three, if you have less money, if you are not filthy rich, you don't have amount to show as proof of funds, so there are less proof of funds required in this stream. Moving on, if you have number four, if you have less formal education, you are not masters or MBAs or MScs or PhDs, not even bachelors, so the education eligibility is as low as high school diploma. So this can't get any better. Yeah. So another part highlight of this program is that you are eligible for a PR, for a permanent residency program. Next is you get a job. Next is you are eligible to come to Canada along with your entire family. I can go on. Next is you get a free settlement plan. So you get, by that I mean that when you arrive, your accommodation is arranged. You don't need to worry about where I will live, what I will do. Your accommodation is ready. You get a free settlement plan. So these are some of the highlights of AIPP, the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, which consists of 4 Atlantic provinces. This is why this program is known as Atlantic, because there are Atlantic provinces, which are 4 provinces which have combined to make this program happen. So now let's go into the details and see the eligibility criteria of this program.
Okay, so let's get into the details. So we come to Immigrate to Canada page, and then you can see there are various ways to immigrate to Canada. This I tell every time because there are many viewers who have not seen the previous videos. So there are many ways to come to Canada: express entry, family sponsorship, provincial nominees, Quebec selected skilled worker programs, Atlantic immigration pilot, caregiver, startup visa, self-employed, RNIP, agri-food immigration, refugee, and so on and so forth. So we have discussed RNIP, we have discussed PNPs, express entry. So today what we are doing is we will be discussing Atlantic immigration pilot program. So let's click on this. So what it is, the pilot helps employers in Atlantic Canada hire foreign skilled workers who want to immigrate to Atlantic Canada and international graduates who want to stay in Atlantic Canada after they graduate. So this program basically helps the employers of the four Atlantic provinces to hire international skilled workers who want to come to Canada and for the students who are already in Canada to stay here. So this is what Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program is. This was a pilot program but has got a 2-year extension. So now this program will run till 2021 if the further extension is not approved. Now there are changes that give international graduates more time to apply, more flexibility for hiring healthcare professionals. So if any healthcare professionals, I got a comment from somebody and people were asking me, tell us something about nurses. So this program is very feasible for healthcare professionals. So moving on about the pilot. So here we are, hire through the Atlantic immigration pilot. So this hire is for the employers who want to hire people. Yeah. So I'll skip this. So now the Atlantic immigration pilot helps you hire qualified candidates for jobs you haven't been able to fill locally. These candidates can be overseas or living in Canada temporarily. Yeah. Okay. So this is all about the employer. Yeah. Now coming on. So for us, there are three programs in the pilot that employers can hire you through. So this is for you is all the people who are aspiring to come to Canada. You may qualify for more than one program, but you can apply only through one. So this is for students who are already in Canada or have the Canadian education. This is basically for people who are skilled workers and want to come to Canada, and this is for people who have less skills, uh, have technical skills, and still want to come to Canada. So let's discuss about Atlantic High Skill Program. You must have worked in a management professional or technical skill job for at least a year. Have at least a Canadian high school diploma or equivalent. Take a language test to show you can communicate in English or French. Show you can support yourself and your family within Canada. The employer must also meet certain requirements. The Atlantic Intermediate Skill Program, the only difference is that have worked in a job that requires a high school education. So if you were not in a managerial position, this is for you. If you were in a management position, this is for you. Let's move on. Now, the first thing is I told you about the pilot program. We discussed briefly requirements. Now, third step is to get a job offer. You must receive a job offer from a designated employer in Atlantic Canada to participate in the pilot. We don't match you with open jobs. To see a list of designated employers participating in the pilot, check the provincial website. So these four provinces are part of AIPP Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program: New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. So the first job is to find an employer, and we will talk about how we can find designated employer and how can we see whether designated employer are hiring or they are not. Right now they are hiring immensely. Yeah. When a designated employer offers you a job, they'll give you an offer of employment to a foreign national form. So if you get a job, your employer will give you this. and make sure your NOC is correct. NOC is National Occupation Classification, which is your profession. Make sure you qualify for the program the employer selected you in the job. Moving on. Uh, Number 4, get your documents ready. Start gathering your documents for your permanent residence application early. You should get these documents early to avoid delays when you apply for your permanent residence in Atlantic Canada. So, language is the first thing. So, by language, it means IELTS. Second, it's education. By education, I mean ECA, which is your Education Credential Assessment. Third is proof of funds. You must have enough funds to support you and your family when you immigrate. The other documents uh, are given in the application, which we will discuss. So, this is what you have to do. You have to get a job, give IELTS, get your ECA, arrange funds, get a settlement plan, and then you can apply. Yeah. So, moving on. Highly skilled worker program. Let's click on this. Find out if you are eligible. Number one, work experience. In the last 3 years, you must have worked at least 1560 hours. This is how many hours you would have worked in 1 year if you were working 30 hours per week. So if you have 1 year of experience, if you have worked 1560 hours in an year or 30 hours per week, you are eligible. And for highly skilled Atlantic, your NOC must be 0A or B. Moving on, education. You must have one of the following: a Canadian secondary high school or post secondary certificate, diploma, or degree, a foreign degree, diploma, or certificate equal to a Canadian credential. You will need an ECA. So, if you have a foreign degree, diploma, or certificate, you are eligible. Language. You must have taken one of the language tests. We approve the test shows you can communicate in English or French well enough to live and work in Canada. If you have taken, so it's IELTS, and I will tell you the exact requirement, which is very, very, very low. Then proof of funds. You must have the job, the money to support. Then get a job offer, which we have talked about. Submit your application. That's it, done. Now, so language. Now let's see the language. Yeah, have a language level of CLB 4 or higher. So if you have CLB 4, which means you have approximately around 4.5 bands in IELTS, you are eligible. That's it. Yeah. Moving on. Proof of funds. If you are one person, you only need to show 3,167 Canadian dollars. If you are family of three like me, only 4,847 Canadian dollars will do. In express entry, this number is, I think, around $20,000. So you don't need $20,000 for this program. You only need around $5,000, which is one fourth of the express entry. So very, very low IELTS, very low requirement for proof of funds. You are still eligible if you have a high school diploma. Now moving on, the application. Yeah. So if when the documents are ready, you have got the job offer, you will fill the application. You can see the document checklist, what exactly is required, and then moving on. So before you apply, eligibility requirements, gather documents, complete the application, pay the fees, mail the application. This is extremely important because this is not an online program. You have to physically send the hard copy. Yeah. And you may apply through the Atlantic Immigration Pilot if you meet the eligibility requirements and plan to settle permanently in one of these Atlantic provinces. Before you can apply to immigrate to Canada through the Atlantic Immigration Pilot, you must first receive an endorsement letter from an Atlantic province. skill type 0, A, B, everyone is eligible. Job offer, education, language, applying inside Canada, applying outside Canada, funds needed. So we have discussed everything in detail. So I would encourage everybody to uh, the first thing you need to do is, uh, go to these provinces website. Yeah, for example, Nova Scotia, Atlantic immigration. Okay. Now, Nova Scotia, this is not the official link. Yeah. Now, since we have understood what Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program is, what are the steps, and what is the eligibility of the program, now what I would do once I've understood everything, I would like myself to, get ready for the application. So the first thing is getting my ECA and IELTS done. So for example, if I have my ECA and my IELTS in my hand, then the first thing I would do is I will go province by province and search for the designated employers first. After finding the designated employers, I will find for what jobs these designated employers are hiring. So, for example, what I would do now is I know that in Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, one of the province is Nova Scotia. So I would search Nova Scotia immigration. So Nova Scotia immigration. So this is the website of Nova Scotia province. Here you can see for yourself Atlantic immigration pilot. I click here, I will go in the details. So this is about Atlantic immigration pilot program of Nova Scotia. Now, what I will do is this, the business names of designated employers. So if you want to immigrate via AIPP in Nova Scotia, these are the employers who, if give you the job, you will come to Canada as a permanent resident. So now let's open this list. So the list is opened, and as you can see, it's a long list, long list. So now how to find a job from one of these employers. Now, if I were to be at your place, I will find all these employers and find what these employers are hiring. Now, how to know or how to find out that whether these guys are hiring or they aren't. So, for example, what I would do is uh, I would open one website which is indeed.ca. For example, I've seen in the list there's a company known as Event East, which is a designated employer. And in the location, I will tell Indeed to only find jobs which are of this company and are from Nova Scotia. Now I will go down and will see. So right now I see that this company, which is designated employer for the province of Nova Scotia, Event East, is right now hiring for an event technician, and the details are given. So I will see if I qualify for this job and I have the right experience. I will immediately apply for this job. This is a full-time job which will give you 13.31 an hour. About the company and about the role. So this is what you need to do for all the designated employers in all the four provinces. So this is the job which you must be doing after getting your ECA and IELTS and planning to immigrate to AIPP. Now this is $1 million trick, yeah. So you find these companies, this is a list. All these companies are designated employers only for one province, Nova Scotia. So you have to do the same thing for the remaining three provinces and then run everything through Indeed and find what these designated employers are hiring for and then apply and then pray that you will be accepted and finally you would be coming to Canada via the AIPP for permanent residency. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that you guys will spend time on this research. My purpose is to enable you, empower you, so you can think, you can act on your own and decide what is good for you. So I'll see you in the next video. Just subscribe, press the icon button, tell to your friends, share with them. And if anybody wants any help, write me on Instagram or in the comment section. Till then, goodbye.